Hi everyone, it's Sharon Livingston, and today I'm at Tupelo Music Hall with the owner, Scott Hayward. And so, Scott,
Hi, Sharon.
I'm so glad to be here with you, and I think this is the most time we spent together ever.
I think it is, yeah.
And which is amazing because you're my landlord.
Yes, I am.
So, the reason I wanted to do the show about Tupelo is that it's become a phenomenon here in southern New Hampshire. And I was wondering, like, when you tell people about Tupelo, what do you tell them? What is Tupelo? In your mind, what is it?
Well, Tupelo is like a cross between it's a hybrid club and theater. We look like a club. We're small and intimate like a club. But when the music starts, we follow the rules of a theater. So it's very much a hybrid listening room.
When you follow the rules of a theater, what do you mean by that?
Well, like a theater, you'd come in and you'd sit in chairs and you'd just watch the show. Typically a theater, there wouldn't be beer or wine, nothing just fixed seating. We do some shows at tables and we do some shows with rows of chairs. But it's different because people can come in, have a glass of wine or a beer. But when the music starts, everybody focuses on the stage, unlike a club where there's a bar going on in the background and service, table service and things like that.
And how did this all start? How did you come to it?
Well, actually, it wasn't done on purpose. The business started about 6.5 years ago when I purchased the building that we're in, and there was a little folk venue here, and I came to a few shows and decided, this could be very interesting. I've always loved music, and when I came to a couple shows at the folk venue, I thought that this is something that I would love to do.
And so, what's your passion? I know, like, we've titled the show, it's all about the music. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, the whole vision of Tupelo and our basic rule for everything is if it affects the show, if it affects the quality of sound poorly, or if it makes the show less intimate and focuses on anything other than the music, we just don't do it. So for us, everything it is all about the music. Is all about the music. So for example, if we are buying equipment, we'll buy the very best equipment. And if we're buying, if we're looking to upgrade something here, it's always, does it make noise? Is it something that's gonna be loud? It's gonna conflict, because a lot of the people on stage are very large artists, and you can literally, excuse the cliche, hear a pin drop in this room. So a lot of times we'll shut off anything with a motor and just make it completely quiet in here. Also, anything that will conflict, like for example, some things that we do might conflict with our general vision. Like for example, we wouldn't ever do karaoke or something in the room.
Because?
Because we really specialize in live music and by the original artists. So we don't do cover bands. Not that there's anything wrong with them. We don't do tribute bands. If you hear a famous song on our stage, it's going to be sung by the person who either was the original performer or the original writer of the song.
This is my version. I like to tell people, I don't overshare. She covers me.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, and because of that, it's nostalgia for a lot of people,
And so, who is your target market? Who are the kind of people who come to Tupelo?
Well, it's very specific. Our average patron is between 35 and 65. I mean, that's who we market towards. We don't market a genre of music. We're not looking to be a blues club or a jazz club or a rock club. What we're looking to do is book music that appeals to this group of people. So this is a somewhat older group of people. Nostalgia for this group is bands that a lot of them came out in the 70s.
So, like, give us some examples.
Well, like on our schedule right now, we have bands such as UFO, Uriah Heep, the Yardbirds, things like that. We don't do a lot of hard rock stuff, hardly any actually. We don't do hip hop, we don't do rap, we don't do that type of stuff.
So, one that I'm excited about that you probably don't know, I don't think I've told you the story, but Oates is coming here
John Oates, yeah.
in June, right?
Yeah.
Did I tell you my story about him?
No.
I was on an airplane going to do some work in Rochester, New York, and the flight was delayed, and we were sitting together in first class. It was on the left. It was the first 2 seats in first class on the left. And unlike you, I'm not necessarily someone who knows all the artists and stuff. Like, you'll tell me about these artists, I'm going, I should be all excited, and I don't know when to be excited or not. I know what I like. I know the sounds that I like, but I don't know the artists. I never have.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting next to this man with curly, dark hair. This is about 20 years ago. And when I first started my business of being an interviewer, and he's talking a little bit, and he kind of leaks the fact that he's a songwriter and a singer. And I said, should I know you? He said, well, maybe. And then he tells me who he is, and of course I recognize his name.
Yeah.
And one of my specialties is creative process and helping people come up with ideas. And I taught him an NLP technique, which is using guided imagery to come up with ideas. And I can't wait to see him when he's here next, because I want to see if he remembers, and I bet anything he'll remember.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Yeah,
So,
John is supposed to be just a wonderful person
he was
to
so
work
cool.
with. Yeah.
Well, and he came from Philadelphia, and I came from South Jersey, so
Yeah.
we had that connection.
That's great.
So
Yeah,
it
he
was
has a great band. His solo stuff is really good. And of course, everybody knows who Hall & Oates is.
Right.
But his solo stuff is great, and there are a lot of people that are, they were a big 70s, 80s band, and there are a lot of people that from that time that continue with their music, but are doing their own thing now. Like tonight, we have Colin Hay, lead singer from Men at Work, and that's there's a band that was huge in the 80s and 90s, and now he's doing his own thing. So.
Right, and that was like mid to late 80s that I
Yeah,
met him.
exactly. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. Well, that's half the fun of a small venue, an intimate venue, is that most people that come here get to actually meet the artists, which is a big deal because a lot of the people that we showcase here are playing 1,000-seat rooms, and in a
Right.
1,000-seat room, the curtain closes, and sound check's done, and then they open it, you see the show, it closes, and that's it. Here, the artist has to walk through the crowd. They have to interact with the people, and almost always they'll hang out afterwards, talk to people. People come with albums that are 40, 50 years old to get them signed.
my
You get to meet the
goodness.
people that
Wow.
have really kind of inspired your life through their music. It's great.
It's really cool. So what is your mission, like at this point? Like, how long has this been in existence now?
6.5 years we've been here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it
That's
goes
a
quick.
long time.
Yeah.
And so where are you going? What can people expect? And I know people have come here, they talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we have a great group of people that come here. The patrons are as responsible for the success of the club as we are. It's not because they buy tickets. It's because we put really big artists in this room. And if you look at the front row, I mean, the front of the chairs is about 2 feet from the stage. You're almost sitting on the
there.
stage in this venue.
Yeah.
And it's the respect that the patrons have shown for the artists that has, in part, given us the reputation for being a hybrid listening room, and has gotten a lot of the artists that we've been able to book. Going forward, we booked. We recently opened a room in Vermont, in White River Junction, Vermont, in October.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Same exact format as this venue. Same artists. We're routing a lot of the people together, and looking ahead, the 3-year, 5-year vision is to have multiple venues, maybe 8, 10 venues where we can take an artist and we can book them throughout all of our venues.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it gives the artists a reason to come into New England. You know, a lot of times artists, they get to like Virginia and they decide, are we going to go west or are we going to go up into New England? And if we can book them at 4, 5, 6 shows, then we'll be able to get the routing for the artist. It'll be financially
makes a lot of sense for them.
feasible, and it'll be the same type of stuff that we book at all the venues.
And I think it's an incredible service that you're offering this to people up here. You know, I'm an expat New Yorker. I've been here for 7.5 years, and I had no idea these kind of venues existed, and then here we are. It's just like the coolest thing.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, this type of venue really kind of doesn't exist. You know, I don't go to other venues obviously because I'm booking here and I'm helping manage my managers and stuff. But from what all the agents I work with all over the country tell me is that we're one of the only, if not the only, for-profit venue that doesn't have a bar. You know, it's very odd that we make all of our money on ticket sales. And that's one of those things, you know, when we talk about the vision and all about the music, we've bypassed the bar and the bar income, because at the end of the day, a bar in the room will cause noise, distractions, people getting up and down, and people generally will talk at a bar and chatter at the bar, and we've eliminated that by eliminating the bar altogether.
And that takes a lot of attention away from the artist. And in a small place like this,
it does.
If you're up here and you see people getting up and leaving, that could be kind of disparaging to the person on stage.
Absolutely, yeah. When you're one of 200 people in the room and you get up, or a couple people get up and leave during the middle of a set,
you feel it.
You do feel it, yeah.
So I want to tell you what this reminds me of this whole venue, but I'm going to do that when we come back, and we're going to just take a short break for some messages, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back. We're here with Scott Hayward of Tupelo Music Hall. And I was saying what this reminds me of when you were talking about the intimacy of it and the chairs being so close in. It's sort of like when you see those old movies and there's somebody doing a music, like piano concert, right in someone's estate or a mansion or something like that.
Right.
And they're all like seated around and it's so quiet and everyone's like so attentive and the person is right there in their living room. And it almost feels like that.
Yeah, I mean, you almost can think of the room as a giant stage and everybody's on it because of the way the venue's. Yeah. And that's the idea. The idea is that it kind of has the warm feel and look of a living room, as intimate as possible.
And we've never talked about this, but I get that really clearly. And when you were talking about how when the artist walks down the aisle to come and be on stage, and how people are so respectful of them. I mean, it's like you don't have people like touching or throwing or.
Right.
Well, in your home environment, in your living room, you wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
And they treat people like they are honored guests.
Yeah, and there's definitely that mutual respect, I mean, the people that come to see the people on our schedule, most of these people they've followed for years and years and years,
And it's kind of like what I said about John Oates. Like, I feel like I know him.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
Don McLean was here last weekend. My sister-in-law was here in the audience. She feels like she knows him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you grow up with Don McLean.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Yeah. You kind of can't escape him, if you listen to the radio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a very cool thing. And